Oh, yes, I love it. You can't see me, correct?
Correct.
On the screen? Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I appreciate you joining us today. I'm very excited to have you here and to be hosting this virtual panel discussion for our AdventHealth Altamonte campus. I would love to share that we are having a hiring event on Tuesday, October 25th. So we're going to talk about AdventHealth Altamonte. We're going to talk about being nurses at AdventHealth and share a little bit more information about the upcoming hiring events. And hopefully you'll be joining us there. We're glad you're joining us here. My name is Angie Duplass, and I work as a nurse residency talent sourcer for AdventHealth. And I'm super excited to be hosting today to help facilitate a wonderful conversation with our nurse leaders. So I would love to go around and have everybody introduce themselves, share a little bit about who you are, your role at AdventHealth, how long you've been with AdventHealth, and then we'll jump into the conversation. So if we could kick off with Jenna, we would love to hear a little bit about you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Jenna. I am a nurse here at AdventHealth Altamonte, a nurse manager. I've been here with AdventHealth since 2007. And yeah, I look forward to this event. I'm grateful to be part of this.
And who's with you?
Hi, my name is Nicole. I am currently a nurse on MedTele, and I've been working with the AdventHealth team for about a year, a little over a year.
Wonderful, thank you. Nikki, share a little bit about yourself, please.
Sorry, hi, my name is Nikki. I am the 4900 PCU nurse manager. I have been with AdventHealth for 20 years. So I've been here quite some time, started as a baby GN here myself. So this is my first time being involved in this, but very excited to be involved as well.
Thank you so much. John, can you share a little bit about yourself? Oh, you're still on mute.
Sorry about that. My name is John. I'm in charge of surgical services here at Altamonte. I just passed my 1-year anniversary in September. I transplanted from New York after 34 years in the OR there, and I'm thrilled to be here. Enjoy the team I have.
Thank you. And Eric Joshua.
Hi, my name is Joshua, and I'm the Director of Emergency Services for our Seminole Market. I've been with AdventHealth since 2008, and I've been in the emergency department that entire time.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Again, attendees, thank you so much for joining us today. This is a wonderful opportunity to learn about life at AdventHealth Altamonte Springs and a unique opportunity to participate in a conversation with members of the leadership team there. So if you are interested in AdventHealth Altamonte, you are prepared, or prepare yourself for a wonderful chance to really delve into a great conversation about what that feels like. So I just wanted to give some expectations. Your mics have been muted as attendees. And so we're going to go through and we're going to ask some Q&A. You have the opportunity to ask all of your questions in the chat. So please do use the chat function. We'll be monitoring that throughout the conversation. And if your questions aren't answered in the chat, we'll definitely get a chance to answer them either after our conversation today or maybe even throughout the conversation. Maybe we'll ask the questions out loud so that we can one way or another directly answer your questions. We're, again, really grateful for you to be here. So I would love to dive in and ask, okay, since we have a hiring event coming up, please would you share with us, for what areas are you hiring? And if any leaders want to share that information, feel free to jump right in. I can call on you if you prefer, but if you have something to share, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I can go. So I actually have 3 emergency departments in our market. So we have Altamonte, which is sort of our mother campus for our market. We see about 75,000 patients a year, a little over 200 patients a day, depending on the day. I also have 2 freestanding emergency departments. One is in Lake Mary and one is in Oviedo. being freestanding, they're a little smaller. They're 24-bed emergency departments. Lake Mary's a little busier. They see around 60 patients a day or so. And then Oviedo, they see about 45 patients a day, but we're hiring for all three places. So yeah, look forward to getting candidates.
Thank you. So John, what would you say that you look for in a candidate?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is being a team player. In an emergency department, everybody really has to work together. It's really fast paced. Really, I think also somebody who's really willing to learn. And, in healthcare in general, things change all the time. Certainly in the emergency department, things change a lot. And so people who are willing to work together, collaborate, and learn. Those are really key points that we look for.
Thank you so much. So Nikki, if you wouldn't mind sharing with me, you had mentioned that you've been with AdventHealth for 20 years. Tell me a little bit about that experience. What drew you to AdventHealth as a whole, and then what drew you to AdventHealth Altamonte specifically?
So as I said, I've been here for 20 years. We did do back then some of our clinicals while we were in school. And so the environment was just a very welcoming, open environment that made me want to seek out a job here. I think what has kept me here over the years is the family feeling. I very much enjoy the people that I work with, my coworkers, the teamwork that goes on every day. And, I will often tell people that I do drive 45 minutes, 5 days a week, and that I do that because of the people that I work with. We can be a nurse anywhere, but I don't have these people that I work with anywhere, and they really make the difference in my everyday.
Thank you so much. So Jenna and Nicole, if you wouldn't mind sharing with me a little bit about what is a typical day like for nurses on your units?
Of course, I think Nicole's best to answer this. She is a floor nurse here, so.
Yeah, so our floor is very busy, very fast paced. When we come in, we're normally 5 to 6 to 1 is our ratio for patient to nurse. So, you start off your day, you get your vitals. On day shift, you have your 2 assessments and 2 vitals. And, you just kind of go about the day. You work with different people, physical therapy, doctors, a lot of people in the interdisciplinary team. So it's very fun and exciting. Wound care. It just kind of depends on what kind of patients you have that day. But, when you walk through the door, you could really have any types of patients. So it's very fun, and you learn a lot. Exactly.
Fabulous. John, if you would tell me what, in your opinion, sets Altamonte apart from other AdventHealth campuses?
It's actually interesting you asked that. I was offered 2 different AdventHealth positions when I came down a year ago. And after my interviews with the upper management, as well as with some of the staff that were currently here, it was just like, wow. I mean, especially coming from where I was in New York. I mean, just the initial shock of the pleasantries were different, just interacting with people. And it was genuine, and it definitely was palpable. And that was one of the big reasons I chose to come to Altamonte without knowing really anything about AdventHealth. And my wife could tell you how happy I am still a year later with my decision. And truly my fellow directors also welcomed me in as family from day one. And I truly appreciate it.
That's awesome. Thank you. One of my favorite things is to hear people share stories of why they became a nurse, because being a nurse is not something just anybody could do. I definitely would not be cut out to be a nurse. I feel that everybody at AdventHealth is here for a personal reason, right? A lot of folks have very similar stories. Either they themselves or a loved one had an experience at AdventHealth, and so they were so moved by the level of care. And that is definitely the case for me. Previous to working at AdventHealth, I was working in recruitment for a local school. And at the time, my husband and I, we would carpool together. And on a particular morning, he was driving and we swerved towards the curb, and I'm thinking he's trying to be funny because that's the kind of person he is. He swerved towards the curb again, and I'm okay, I don't get the joke. I look at him and I see his hands are on the wheel, his eyes are open, and he's just not there. So me not being a healthcare professional is what any reasonable person would do, and like completely panicked. I couldn't even make words happen. So I know that so many of you, especially healthcare professionals out there in our audience, you here as our nurse leaders are probably thinking, oh, this is what I would have done, or I would have this. No, I couldn't even make words. So I understand that not just anybody can be a nurse. And so I am so fascinated by that moment that somebody decided in their life, you know what, this is what I need to do. And I'm going to go after it. So I understand it's a personal story and a personal share, but I would love to hear from any and every one of you who feels comfortable sharing your story. And if you don't, that's totally okay too.
I'd be happy to share my story. AdventHealth has been no stranger. I have family who has worked here. So I've known AdventHealth since I was a child, but when I was 16, I started working at AdventHealth as a transporter, kind of dipped my toes in that clinical view. But it wasn't until my mom became a patient here at 16 that I saw the care. I saw the intention. Of course, I'm a nurse now, but back at the time, everything was a foreign language. The communication, the effort, the nonverbals of the care from the bedside nurse really helped me say, I need to join this team. And I actually work with some of the doctors today that helped my mom, get to the point she is today. And I get to be part of that for the next patient, because it did impact little 16-year-old me as to what I need my mission to be. So that was kind of my why, and that's why I wear my mom on my heart as to who I come to work for. That was the reason.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to share who's on their heart?
Sure, I can share. So actually, when I went to school, I started out pre-med, and actually just happened to end up in a microbiology class, and it ended up there was a lot of students in there for nursing, and they were just my kind of people. I don't know, I just clicked with them like really well, and so that it ended up being the path that I went down. And it's such, a good fit for me. And I think it's really a calling. I mean, I definitely feel like I was called to do this job. And I ended up being so lucky to work at an organization like we have.
Thank you. Agreed. I guess I neglected to share my whole story. So we called the paramedics when that event had happened. And they said, we don't know if this was a cardiac event or a neuro event, but AdventHealth is going to be your best bet for both. And from every nurse, tech, doctor that we received, the level of care was just so amazing and so impactful. And so I said, if there's any tiny bit that I can help be a part of other people receiving that level of care as I did, and my husband did, I want to be a part of that. And so that is where all of our wonderful viewers are coming in, because you are our next generation of wonderful healthcare professionals, whether you be nurses, techs, what have you, GNs. I would love for you to share a little bit about GNs. I want to talk about, I would say a lot of the nurse graduates that I speak with are very nervous to take that step. But what are some characteristics that you feel graduate nurses are lacking right out of school in the eyes of a nurse manager? Like, what do you wish they were coming more equipped with?
I'd be happy to speak on that. I know we are very welcoming of GNs. We know that there's only one place to start, and we'd be happy to be the team that helps you start your nursing journey. I think what I really appreciate with GNs, and again, Nicole with my GN, is a willingness to ask questions. Coming in with a very open approach of, I may not have all the answers, but I know who to ask. I want to see something I've never seen before. So if I have a chest tube on the unit, Nicole's the first person to say, I know that's not my patient, but can I look? Can I watch? to just be willing to try something new, learn something new, ask questions, and to be a good communicator of what maybe you're having a day where you just are not sure what your next step is. Knowing that you would come to me versus just keeping a question inside helps me know I can trust your judgment. And when I have a GN that does that, I feel like I can trust their growth as a new nurse.
Thank you. Nikki, what would you share for any new nurses joining your team? Any
So
advice or guidance?
I was definitely going to second what Jenna said. She had some very good points. I think a big thing with the GNs is just to be very open-minded. We have a lot to learn. One thing that I often tell them is I still learn every day. I've been doing this for 20 years. I still learn every day. So I need them to understand that nursing is constantly evolving. You have to be open to suggestion, open to critiquing, and just being really willing to learn everything that's coming down, and know that we are all going to continue to learn together every day. So I think if they come in with that open attitude, just, positive attitude, it really goes a long way.
Wonderful. So I know a lot of times a graduate nurse can tend to have their heart set on a specific unit, but maybe that unit isn't available for their cohort. What is the best, like, how can they get the most out of whichever unit they start their residency on?
I've talked to quite a few nurses that have desire to definitely start in the ER or in the ICU, but PCU tends to be maybe what's available. So I talked to them and explained to them that, this is a great foundation, right? Everything that you build needs to have a great foundation. And if they take that year and a half to 2 years and start in that PCU level, which is maybe not where they wanted to start, it will make them an amazing ICU nurse, an amazing ER nurse. And that will just make them that much more successful in the future in that path that they want to go on. I always tell them I'm very supportive of growth. I love to grow nurses and send them elsewhere to be amazing nurses there. So, and share with them how many we have grown on our unit and sent to the other places. And so I think that helps them understand that they can really start with us and yes, excel in their future career as a nurse.
I think you brought up a really good subject there is growth and career pathing. And John, not to put words in your mouth, but potentially that was a conversation that you had in your interview process, but saying, here I am stepping into this space, maybe this role, but where am I going to go from here? What are some ways that you help your team members to grow in their nursing careers?
Well, I can speak like from my experiences all the way up. I started as a combat medic in the Army and excelled to surgical tech, then RN, and then all the way up to my master's degree. And one of the key things is lead by example. My whole first year here, I have no problem picking up a mop and mopping a room to help turn over those rooms. And when I think the staff sees that I'm willing to do whatever I'm going to ask them to do, I've already done in my career. And I think that is huge for the new people coming on board. For the areas I'm in charge of, even in fact, with my association of operating room nurses, they've even, there's like to key on what Nikki said, first, there's always that evolution. The evolution within surgery is there's no longer that sense that you have to be on a floor for a year before you can jump into an operating room and try training for the operating room. And unfortunately, in the schools, they don't really promote that much. And that has become self-evident for the high technology that we have in the rooms, that it really doesn't have to start out on a floor what you're learning. Literally, you can come out of school and start in the OR in a training program, just like the ED one. We call it OR NIP here at Advent. And, within that program, you're producing an OR nurse who hopefully within 6 months can fly on their own. Again, with the support of the nurse managers and A&Ms and even the service line coordinators, that's how we cultivate that. And also, like you said, with progression and, our main job is to really from day one work on a succession plan for me, myself, and the nurse managers and A&Ms I'm in charge of. So I think it's a total circle of life, to coin Lion King. And you hope by bringing them in young and wanting to learn, as Joshua said, that would be that's the way to head toward a successful career. And and that's also how you have to look at it, not as a job, but as a career, if that's the way you want to proceed.
Amazing. So Joshua, what would you be looking for? You mentioned that you're hiring for ED in multiple locations at your upcoming hiring event next week. What would you be looking for in a graduate nurse as well as a seasoned, more experienced nurse in order to qualify for those units?
Yeah, so for GNs, basically what happens is they come into an EdNIP program. That program starts every couple of months. And that training all takes place at Altamonte because it's our bigger campus and there's more support. A lot of our preceptors are there, and you're going to typically see more things. And so you're going to have the opportunity to learn more during that training program. For more experienced nurses, they could be hired straight into one of the freestanding EDs if they have ED experience. And we also have a transition program. So for people who are already a nurse, but maybe don't have emergency department experience, and that's where they want to go, we have an EdNIP program for them too. It's just a shorter program because they don't have all, they have a foundation in nursing. They just have to learn the emergency part of it. So it's really about finding the right fit. And, the truth of the matter is some people may think, they want to be in the emergency department. They see it on TV and it looks really exciting and they think it's one thing. And they get here and they're like, yeah, I don't know. This isn't what I thought it was. But what's great actually about nursing is, we have an opportunity to work together with all of the other leaders in the hospital and say, hey, why don't you go check this out? And why don't you check that out? I mean, the truth of the matter is, 90+% of the people who come through an EdNIP program, they make it through the program and they're amazing and they love it. And, they love their job and they love coming to work and helping people every day. But when it doesn't work out that way, there's so many opportunities. They can go shadow in surgery. They can go shadow on Nikki's unit. They can go shadow in ICU. We really, really support making sure people are where they want to be and where they feel like they're a good fit and they're successful. And I think as leaders, that's really what our goal is to find the right fit for those people.
That sounds amazing. Okay, team Jenna and Nicole, I see your hands up.
I just wanted to piggyback off what Josh said about finding that fit. I think Nicole's a perfect example. She'll be joining Josh's team here soon next year. And I think this is a great example of what it can look like, especially being a GN, not knowing what your path is going to be. And then Nicole's been on the unit for about a year and now knows that she likes that acuity. So maybe you have a plan, maybe you don't, but we can help you find where your best fit is and get you home. Although I don't want to lose her, I think this is going to be a good fit.
And I think that's something I would love to just really drive home. Yes, of course, you as her leader want to keep her, but at the same time, you want what's best for her because what's best for her is what's best for AdventHealth, right? So yeah, I think a lot of times people say, oh, I don't want to leave, or I feel bad, or, I'll break their heart, my manager's heart, but know that, yes, it's out of that love and support that we really ultimately want what's best for your career. And so to continue to look ahead towards not just the hiring event, but also any other times people are applying, what are some really good resume tips or things that you want to see or wish you could see on somebody's resume?
I would love to touch on this for 1 second. And that is, sometimes I see resumes come through and I feel like there's more work experience here, but the only thing that's listed is what people feel like is related to healthcare. So if they, had a job as a tech, say for the last year or two, but so people will typically leave off some of their prior work experience because it's not healthcare related. I actually love to see what prior experience people have. Healthcare was not the first industry that I worked in. And so there are pieces that come from other industries that can very well tie into what we do. And so I would tell you, don't leave anything off of your resume, even if it's not healthcare related.
Amazing. And John, you mentioned earlier having been a combat medic. What are some tips that you could give other veterans for ways to translate your skills to working in a hospital?
Depending on, I mean, we automatically, well, I'm going to say myself, I don't know about everybody else on the panel, but we'll automatically shine on a veteran, just for the service that they've already have performed. But with that saying, I was as a kid, I grew up with MASH, and my dream was to be in the Army and working in OR. Well, I got to do both. So, depending on the skills, the MOS, which veterans will understand, the job skill that they had, there are many jobs within the civilian world that can, except for tank driver. That's about the only one I can think of. You can't really bring into the hospital unless you're driving one of the golf carts. But there are many roles that a veteran can definitely fulfill within the AdventHealth organization, I am sure.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing about that. So, okay, we've moved past the resume. Everybody's got an amazing resume. Now let's talk about interview skills. What are some great tips for folks who are interviewing with you, again, either at a hiring event or just on a regular day, or maybe even one of your walk-in Wednesdays?
I'm gonna take that walk-in Wednesday because it's been very successful for our department, as Joshua knows. I had even a walk-in Wednesday nurse manager come through the door, and this individual wasn't even looking to be a manager, although on her resume she was a manager and basically a director elsewhere. She had stated she had been trying to get into AdventHealth for like 6 years, but like I said, I've only been here a year, so I couldn't answer to that. She walked in, we hit it right off the spot. She accepted the job within 2 days, which I had just happened to have a spot open within the week. And to tack on what Josh is saying, when it comes to an interview, as far as being straightforward to the answers to what is on that piece of paper, as to how long they've been previous places, the kind of experience or training, I think it's the most important thing is to be straightforward, honest, not try to fudge the answer, because that definitely comes through in an interview. If you're walking the walk and talk the talk, we can feel that, but we can't tell until you're here, obviously, exactly. I don't know if my fellow panelists feel the same way.
Yeah, I would love to hear from anybody else. And then I would love to hear from Nicole from the other side.
I think talking about your passion for why you're doing this, whatever unit you're applying for, why do you want that unit? And I think that when people really talk about the love that they have for what they're doing, I think that comes through. So I think if people really focus on their passion for why they're doing this, I think that's a really important point to hit that will come through to the leaders they're interviewing with.
Thank you. Jenna or Nikki, any thoughts, any words of wisdom?
Yes, I think like what Josh and John said is we see the authenticity. Don't be nervous. It can be intimidating. Any interview can be, but just know what we're trying to get to know is why do you want to be here? What do you want to bring to the team? I will always ask, similar to how you said, not everybody wants to be in healthcare. What is it about healthcare and being a nurse that brought you into this field? And I want to hear that connection and the compassion moment. I want to hear examples. I really like to, if you tell me, you have a strength, tell me a story with it. It helps me understand who you are, your ways of thinking, and I can picture you as part of that team. How about you, Nicole? Do you have any advice there?
When interviewing, I was very nervous when I first interviewed here. I was right out of college, I did my 4 years. But everyone here is super nice. So just be yourself, They really just, like Jenna said, they want to know why you want to be here and, what would make you a good fit for this team.
Amazing. So if somebody comes to a walk-in Wednesday, or maybe even your hiring event next week, say that they have some nursing experience, but maybe they've been working in long-term care or something of that nature, and now they're feeling like, you know what, I really want to be part of the AdventHealth Altamont team. Are there opportunities for somebody like that to transition to working into a hospital?
I'll take that one. Sorry, I do know we have transition programs. So I mean, if they've been in long-term care, we have transition programs that will put them through a similar training program as a GN nurse. It's not the same length of time that it puts them with, but it does put them through a training program, puts them with a preceptor for a time on the unit to get them comfortable working in that next level of care. And we definitely welcome that and have those join our team. And that's exciting to be able to get them in with some experience behind their belt.
Yeah. And I believe, and you correct me if I'm mistaken, Advent Altamont is one of the only currently one of the few places where LPNs are utilized in the hospital, correct?
Yes, we are implementing some new strategies with our LPNs, and it has been wonderful. We have really seen that this is a great team approach to nursing. We have started 2 units are implementing LPNs, and I believe that's something that we may spread throughout. But what we're finding is that, our LPNs are so knowledgeable. They have a wealth of strengths that they bring to this team, and working together with an RN, our patients truly do benefit from that combo. And I know that's something that is fairly new, and we've seen an awesome growth from that.
Thank you. So what is the work-life balance for a nurse? What does that look like for a nurse at AdventHealth Altamont? She's putting you on the spot.
Nicole, would you like to? And
Okay.
when she's not picking up overtime?
I do work a lot, but we have our 3 12-hour shifts, but it's very manageable. You still have life outside. I don't have any kids or anything, but I still am able to get to the gym and be with my family and my boyfriend and everything. So you do still have a lot of time, outside. You can do your 3 shifts in a row and then have 4 days off, which is great. You can travel. I have a lot of time to do bunches of things. But like Jenna said, I do pick up a lot, which is good too.
Thank you. And for my nursing leaders, when your nurses are feeling the crunch and they maybe, people are feeling it, they're going through things, we definitely have our ebbs and flows as a society. What are some ways that you lift the morale of your teams? What are some activities or things that you implement there?
I'll talk to that one. Actually today we're having a baby shower on our unit, so we try to, we say we celebrate together, we cry together. So today's going to be a really exciting day, celebrating a new life that's coming. We have our conference room all decorated. Everybody is super excited and we'll just get together and share. So that's one way. I have an endless bucket of chocolate in my office that even other departments know that if they need some chocolate to just make their day better, it is always there and available. I do birthday jars for people. Aren't you glad it's your birthday is my theme this year. So, just little cutesy things. Never thought I would be so crafty in my life, but Pinterest has made me just on top of my game. So those are just some of the things we do on our unit. That they really enjoy. And sometimes we'll just splurge and get some food. If it's a rough day, you just order in some pizza and, just sit together and laugh together and cry together if we have to.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So what are some of the units? So if I am a nurse and I'm interested in AdventHealth Altamont, what kind of units does Altamont Springs have available to nurses?
Well, I can tell you, I have just under my preview 4 full units that encompass pre-surgical testing, pre-surgery, which is Rio, before they go into surgery, the actual OR, and then also PACU. So I have nurses in all 4 areas.
And, we obviously have like med surg, med tele, PCU, ICU, we have ED. There's also like radiology positions and they hire nurses. We have a cath lab here, so they have nurses. There are a lot of areas for opportunity.
Wonderful. So if somebody is maybe a little bit more advanced in their career and they're now starting to look into maybe leadership positions or even some niche, like risk, infection preventionist or those kind of level nurses, do you have those positions at your hospital, or are those usually relegated to something that's more corporate?
I can speak to this. I have had quite the journey through AdventHealth, and some of the leadership roles have been unique like that. I had a position called clinical coordinator. We have infection prevention. We have informatics. We have a wealth of opportunities if you are wanting to do something other than charge nurse, A&M, nurse manager. There's routes you can go to support. We have surgical units and we need coordinators for that. We need educators. So there are multiple growth and leadership roles that are outside of the typical trajectory of charge, A&M, nurse manager.
Wonderful. So tell me a little bit about, I know that the Altamonte Springs location not only serves Orange County, but also Seminole County. What does your community on average look and feel like? Your patients, community.
I can take that. So our campus, our Altamont campus, is the main hospital for Seminole County. So we are the service hospital for our county. And again, we have Lake Mary and Oviedo, so it covers a broader spectrum of the county. I would tell you that, especially around Altamont, it is, there's a lot of commercial business areas right around, but it's also, you have Longwood, Castleberry, and part of Altamont that is very family. We have lots of kids that we see in the ED. We don't keep kids. We don't have like a pediatric unit inpatient. They go to our Disney's Children's Hospital, which is a few miles away, about 8 miles away down the road. But it's really such a great community. We also actually have quite a few, like assisted living facilities, nursing homes, and things like that. So we also have a geriatric population. I think the great part, I will say from an ED perspective, is you get a great mix. I mean, you really get such a good mix to learn in, where, maybe in some other areas, the population's a little different. And so you're a little more focused in something, but it's a very, very broad population.
And what would you say is the differentiating kind of culture at AdventHealth Altamonte? What really is the culture feel like there, and what makes it a great place to work?
I think here at Altamont, the biggest thing that I hear from people and that I think we really have is it's like a family. So even though we've gotten a little bit bigger over time and we do much more things than we did when I started 20 years ago, we still have like a family. Like you still know people from all the departments. We say hi to each other, it just really has like that family feeling. And you hear that from people that come visit here too, from other places. Some of the other hospitals are so big, you just don't know where to go. But even though we do lots of things, we've still kept that family feel like a smaller hospital.
I can piggyback off of Nikki because that is exactly why I stay at AdventHealth Altamont. And I've worked at other hospitals, and there is something to be said about knowing your family around you, environmental, engineering, the executive team, every face because you've seen it. You're not lost in the crowd per se. But yet we're big enough to be impactful. We're big enough to make a difference for our community, but we're small enough to have that family feel. And I've been a travel nurse. I've seen hospitals across the nation, and I came home to AdventHealth for a reason, and it's for that family feel.
That is pretty impressive. You know, as you mentioned, it is a pretty big facility. AdventHealth Altamont actually was the AdventHealth's first satellite location to the AdventHealth family back in 1973. Well, then Florida Hospital. but it was the first one to come under that umbrella, and like you said, it's amazing to be able to have that small, intimate feeling with as big as the campus is. So I was just really feeling like I wanted to go into the direction of, again, being a nurse in that area, in that space, and you know, some of the things that your campus is known for, or any, you know, accolades or any awards that you want to share about the Altamont campus.
I'll share one. So for stroke, we give great stroke care. We actually have won awards year after year, top awards for stroke care. And it really is it's such a team effort because it's not just ED care. I mean, yeah, that's where the patients come into, but getting those patients in, seen, to CT taken care of, and then move to one of the units upstairs, and the care they get on the units, the discharge care. I mean, honestly, like, that stroke care is so phenomenal. I would say the same thing for, you know, our myocardial infarctions and the care that we give our STEMI patients in our cath lab. They do such a good job, and it's such a good partnership between ED, cath lab, and the inpatient units. It's just a really good seamless care.
One of the things that a lot of students ask when I go and I visit the schools and give presentations and talk about our nurse residency program, one of the things that is on their heart, not their heart badge, but on their heart is this feeling of safety. You know, we've had a lot of turbulence in the world, in society, and even at some of the, you know, healthcare organizations out there. And one of the things that I like to share is for you know, John, I realize you're new to the family, but for those who've been with AdventHealth a little longer, know that once the pandemic hit, and places were closing and we're all going into lockdown, Terry Shaw, our president and CEO, it was on his heart to keep everybody whole during that time. And so even if people weren't able to take a patient load at that time because, you know, we just were very uncertain, he made it his mission for people to not lose their job because of COVID-19. And I really like to share that story to say, this is what you would be buying into. This is what you would be joining. This is what you would be experiencing as an AdventHealth team member. So if anybody could share a little bit more about AdventHealth Altamont, specifically with safety and the culture and ways you care for your nursing teams, I would love to hear about that.
I can certainly talk about that. I would tell you, so I've been at Altamont for my entire career. I mean, since 2008, I've been at Altamont, and you know, to be honest, I mean, our campuses are great. We have a great organization. It's just that I've never really had any reason to leave here because it's always felt like a family. You have people come and go, obviously, you know, like John's new with us. He's been here for a year. Guy's part of our family. I mean, within, you know, days, he just feels like part of the family. You know, Nikki's been around for a long time, and even if I don't see Nikki all the time, you know, I always know I can text her, call her, whatever. That creates security, I think. And for us as leaders, you know, we want to be that way for our team. We have a lot of team members who have been with us for a really long time. Again, people come and go, you know, people go travel, people go and do other things, but we have a lot of core team members that have been here for a long time. And I think the reason that they stay is because there's a security knowing that they can come in here anytime. Even right now, my door's not locked. An employee could come in here right now and interrupt this, but you know, it's okay because that's how we feel about our teams. Like, we really want to be there for them. We round on our units. We are totally open door. They can text us, call us, whatever. And that, I think, creates that sense of security. It is that family that, you know, you can count on, whether you're a staff nurse, whether you're a leader, depending on other leaders, or your own leader. And that goes from our very front line all the way to our CEO.
That's really impressive. I love it. And I know that when I've done panel presentations to students, and your CNO has been able to join me. She is so vibrant and passionate and just a lot of fun, and very, very accessible to any students who, you know, have questions or just want to chat. And she's just, please contact me. And I feel that, like you said, that accessibility is just really impressive in this day and age, to not have those barriers, you know, to your leadership. So are all of you planning on being at the hiring event next week? Will we get to see you there?
If not us, at least a representative of us.
Absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we're recommending anybody who plans to join us at our hiring event, please bring several copies of your resume, because you may have opportunities to meet with several different people, several different leaders. Again, brushing up on those interview skills, and just being really ready to spend some time speaking with wonderful nurse leaders, having an interview. I know that a lot of times we are ready to make some on-the-spot offers. So just be ready for that too. Ready to start your new career with AdventHealth Altamonte. Again, speaking to our walk-in Wednesdays. So if you're not able to join us on Tuesday, come over on Wednesday from 10 to noon every week. And I believe, again, correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody wanted to see a tour of a specific unit, if they come to your walk-in Wednesday, would they have that opportunity?
Yeah, in the OR, we do shadows all the time for people to see if they think it's a good fit for them as well.
Same for Edie.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, come on up. We'll give you a tour.
That's super cool. So thinking about, you know, as we're going to go getting ready for the next week, and then our walk-in Wednesdays, are there any other things that you would love for people to know about you, your unit, or AdventHealth Altamonte?
I guess I'll talk to that one. I mean, really, it's a really great place to work. I mean, I have been here for 20 years. You know, we are always wanting to welcome new people into our family. Our unit has a great culture of family. It's a great place to start your career, further your career. It's just really a great place to be. And I look forward to more people joining our AdventHealth team.
Wonderful. Jenna, I saw you reaching for the unmute.
Exactly what Nikki says. This is the best place to work. That's my opinion, but I know many believe the same. We are the Altamont difference. We are a powerful bunch, and I know that we are so grateful to have the opportunity to connect with the community, to get some new hires here working with us, joining the A team. So yes, I'm very excited to get to represent a hospital I truly believe in.
And I could just say that many surgeons actually request to come here. They're very comfortable with our OR, and they look forward to bringing their patients to this institution pre and post, as well as in the OR.
Well, that's good to hear, because I know that I myself have had some procedures at AdventHealth Altamonte. So it's good to know that you have a really high-level team caring for people like us. And I think it's so important to realize that, you know, you had mentioned that why, right? Why am I choosing this career? Why am I choosing healthcare? And you're not just caring for the patient, you're caring for the people like me that are panicking, the families of these patients. And that really does make a difference. So it really has to stand on, and probably one of the reasons why maybe Joshua had mentioned, I want to see some of your other experience, you know. So if you've had experience working in retail or anything, maybe even hospitality, you probably have a really good experience in your tool belts for de-escalating situations like panicked family members. I don't know if anybody has ever had any of that kind of experience that you want to speak to, the like, maybe ancillary nursing experience that maybe necessarily isn't something you learn or in school or take on the NCLEX.
It's actually, it's such a good point. People who have like a customer service background, you're dealing with people, right? You're dealing with people, you're dealing with their families, and you're dealing with people who are really high anxiety when they're coming in, to an ED or in the hospital. And so communication skills, people skills, those are all really important things. We've actually, in the ED, we've even had rocket scientists become nurses and work in the ED. So lots of different backgrounds, engineers. I mean, we've had so many different kinds of people who have come into nursing with a different kind of background, and they bring a different perspective to things, the way they look at things, the way we look at process improvement, the way they're involved. I mean, it's such a diverse group of people, because nursing a lot of times is people's second career too. So it's good to see that.
And it's funny, John was mentioning about nursing, being able to shadow in the OR. Way back when I very first started on our team in recruitment, I was doing sourcing, just talent sourcing for nurses in general, not necessarily graduate nurses specifically, but they offered for people on the recruitment team to come and shadow in the OR, and I absolutely declined. I definitely way too squeamish for that. But one of our team members was so moved and inspired by that experience, she ran off and became a nurse herself. So
That's called inspiration.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you for allowing that. I think that's pretty amazing. And just again, if you have it in you, and something I tell the students all the time, if you have it in you to find a home at AdventHealth, we will find a home for you. And just to reiterate what all of these wonderful leaders have shared about that career growth and finding the right space, if where you are doesn't feel like where you want to be, they're going to help you get to where that place is. Because if you are feeling inspired and if you are feeling engaged, that makes a happy nurse, that makes for a happy hospital and a happy community. I know that there is a wonderful program called the Professional Excellence Program. If anybody wanted to speak to that, because I think that that's another, it's just a wonderful way, again, of growing your career, staying engaged as a career, but also a wonderful way to add some differentials to your base pay.
I'll talk about that for a second, and actually maybe a couple additional things. So the PEP program is basically a program where you essentially sign up to do it, and then there's certain requirements that you have to meet, and they vary. But it will add some base pay to your hourly wage. And there's different levels of that. So the more you get involved and the more you do, then the more money you can make. But even beyond that, we have tuition reimbursement. So, for people who are looking to go back to school, maybe they want to do education, they want to do leadership, they want to do whatever. I use our tuition reimbursement program right now. And actually, it's not even all reimbursement. So depending on where you go to school, they'll actually direct bill it and nothing comes out of your pocket. And so, we just have a lot. I think the organization is very vested in their employees and want to give opportunity for them to grow, because the more our employees grow, then the more we can use them in various ways and improve our own patient care and the things we provide to the community, and we give better care to the community. So there's a lot of really good things that they do.
Earlier, Nicole, you had mentioned, going to the gym and working out. And, I wanted to just share that if people didn't know, wellness is really a cornerstone of AdventHealth. And we have an amazing wellness program. So similar to the PEP, where you have these activities and point-based system, we have a great wellness program where if you're probably things you're doing anyways, like currently there's a challenge for drinking enough water every day. So you get points for that. And then those points add up at the end of the year. You have the opportunity to get a $250 bonus that comes out right before the holidays. So I don't know if maybe you don't see that bonus so much as your family or friends do, but it's still really nice to receive that extra incentive to take care of yourself and get that on your paycheck as well. Also referral bonuses. We know that great nurses know great nurses. So we have a great referral bonus program. So if you refer somebody, a family, friend, whomever, and they get hired, you get a great referral bonus for that. Hopefully you'll take them to lunch. If not, your secret is safe with me. Nobody has to know about that. But again, thank you so much for all of these wonderful leaders sharing your thoughts and experiences, all these wonderful attendees joining us today. I would love to have one more round of any last things, any last thoughts, things on your heart that you would love to share with our attendees as we're getting ready to start closing out our conversation.
I'll just say, thank you to all the attendees for coming and being interested in listening to what we have to say. We love to talk about our campus. We love to talk about our organization. Obviously, we love working here, and certainly we hope that you have the opportunity to talk to one of us.
Exactly. Just to repeat what Josh just said is thank you for taking the time. We would be happy to answer any questions, and definitely reach out if you have something that's resonating with you that you want to know more about. The more you know, the more you'll find that perfect fit for you. So definitely reach out to get some more understanding or ask questions.
Stay open-minded and follow what you really want to do or pursue, so that you can continue to be happy in that path. That's my suggestion.
Thank you so much. Nikki, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just thank you all for coming today, and please just come down, see what we have to offer. In my 20 years, I've done 4 different roles, so there's definitely opportunity for whatever it is that interests you. So definitely come check us out.
I'm going to have a question on behalf of the participants, if that's okay. I know everybody that may be online and listening and watching this may not be local. So is there, and maybe somebody put it in the chat, but is there contact that people who aren't local, because we obviously hire people who aren't, here, we can do virtual interviews. So I just want to make sure everybody has a connection to, even if they're not local.
We will definitely put that in the chat. I think it went into the chat, but we will make sure to reiterate multiple ways that folks can contact us and become part of the wonderful AdventHealth Altamonte Springs campus family. As you had indicated so many times, that it really is a family feeling and experience. And if that is something that is calling to your heart, please, we're calling out to you. So again, if you want to make AdventHealth your home, we will find a home for you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you in advance for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on Tuesday for the AdventHealth Altamonte hiring event. So it will be at the AdventHealth Altamonte campus in Altamonte Springs, Florida, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. If for some reason you're not able to join us on Tuesday, please do come on Wednesday. Every Wednesday from 10 to noon, we have our walk-in Wednesdays, and we have, as the leaders have shared, the opportunity to do a tour, see different units, find the right space for you, because as John mentioned, really be authentic with yourself about what you're looking for, what is the right fit, and we're going to do everything in our power to find that fit for you, because we want you to grow, we want you to put down your roots, we want you to be with us for 20 plus years and to join the team. And our wonderful Sky, who has been helping to moderate in the chat and everything, she's going to share a great video that we call the pledge, that we make this pledge to all of our team members in our community. And Sky, if you would kick us off and close us out, and thank you all for joining us today.
We see you, the whole you. We see your life beyond these walls. That's why we promise competitive pay and paid time off from your very first day. We promise to grow your skills with career development. And we promise to cultivate an inclusive environment and a network of opportunity. Because when you feel whole, we build a stronger community together. Learn more about joining our team and the actions we're taking for our team members at joinadventhealth.com.
Thank you, everybody. Looking forward to seeing you in the team. Bye now.